I didn't even think me needing to change was in the realm of possibilities because I was like, I'm the one who's good at saving. You just keep thinking, oh, if I spend too much, that's when I have an unhealthy relationship with money, but that's really not the case. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alice. If you're new here, I love to talk about money, and today we're going to talk about something that honestly I felt like I couldn't talk about until right now because I feel like I've come such a long ways and I'm finally ready to share to you guys like my scarcity mindset journey, for a lack of a better word. So if you are interested in overcoming the scarcity mindset and transparent finances, please click that subscribe button. Really helps out my little channel and love to have you guys here. So today I want to share with you guys how my scarcity mindset created an unhealthy money dynamic in my relationship with my husband, kind of explain where I think that came from, how it affected our marriage, and then how I overcame that. Obviously with his help, I did not do it alone. When we talk about money and we place blame on people, we kind of just point our finger at the person who spends the most money instead of, like, it's hard to believe, but you can have an unhealthy relationship with money even if you're saving too much. And you just keep thinking, oh, if I spend too much, that's when I have an unhealthy relationship with money. But that's really not the case. It can be, you can have an unhealthy relationship with money if you're saving and investing and just obsessing over money, even if it gets you a desirable outcome in the end. So I'm really excited to talk about this. So first, let's get into two things that I noticed from my childhood that directly impacted having a scarcity mindset, because I really feel like when you can point back to kind of where it came from, that can help you a lot to understand how to best help yourself. And for me, I definitely know these two experiences really kind of turned me onto the trajectory of having a scarcity mindset. And because I wasn't naturally just like born with this mindset. There's an experience I had where I knew that I did not have the scarcity mindset, and then things kind of changed for me. So okay, I just wanted to start off real quick before I get into the context that the reason I decided to even overcome the scarcity mindset was because I've seen countless people who have the scarcity mindset, and it's honestly kind of addicting to obsess about money and to save and invest an unhealthy amount or feel unhealthy ways towards money. And it's hard to even think that you need to change your relationship with money if you are saving and investing so much. I thought I would spontaneously combust if I didn't have a white death grip control on money in my life. But as I've taken a step back, as I've relaxed a little bit, as I've focused more on my values and my goals in life, and rather than just on control and perfectionism, I've really come to feel more peace when it comes to money, even though I still am opening myself up to possible financial pain, because honestly, the scarcity mindset gives you a false sense of control, and it feels good and cathartic to have that false sense of control, but in the end, it's not worth it because it can damage relationships and it can just make you unhappy. So, okay, yes, after I said that little PSA, let's get into the context of where I think the scarcity mindset came from. So reason number one is, let me give you guys a little background. I grew up in a family, 4 kids, single income. Like, my mom has had jobs here and there, but my dad is the one who's had like the career, which, like, no hate or anything. That's just how my family set it up, and I have no issues with that. But 4 kids, single income. Then 2008 hit, and obviously my dad lost his job, but we always had a safety net because my grandparents are quite well off, I would say. So we never were worried that we're going to be homeless. We just didn't want to have to ask for help and ask for money. Basically, I grew up knowing that I would have all my needs and all my wants as long as I never wanted anything. So I just grew up, it was self-reinforced and reinforced by our lifestyle that you just don't want anything. Like, you don't ask for this. Like, when I went grocery shopping with my mom, I never, ever, ever asked for any like toy or any treat or anything. That's just kind of how it was. I knew that like other people were getting a lot more presents for Christmas and they were getting other things paid for by their parents. I just knew, like, when I was in school and something came up that we had to pay like a fee for art class or pay for a field trip, I always felt like, oh no, this is not good. I can't ask for anything. So that's kind of where my underbuying started happening. And I remember in high school going to the store because I needed something for school. Like, I don't even know what it was. Like, say it was like dry erase markers. I knew I needed them for school. I knew I needed them for a project or whatnot. And I remember walking around Walmart and then just going home and not buying them. Not because I didn't have the money, but because I just didn't even feel like I wanted anything. I was so unsatisfied by the idea of buying anything. And I just felt my desire to want anything at all that you could buy was so suppressed, just because I felt like as long as I didn't want anything, I'd be okay. So that's kind of where that started from. Then the intensity really racked up, and I realized that I had to pay for college by myself. I didn't know I had to pay for college by myself. It was the type of thing I just didn't understand. Like, I can't believe how much I didn't understand about college. Like, I didn't know what a credit hour was. Like, I didn't know what any of that stuff was. It was so overwhelming to me. And I remember talking to a family friend, and this came from their personal experience with their own children. So I should have understood that when someone tells you something, it doesn't mean it's 100% correct. It's just their experience, and they're trying to prep you or warn you. I don't really know. So basically, we're having this conversation about paying for college, and I just had found out that I have to pay for college by myself, and I'm not allowed to take out student loans. And they tell me, you will never have enough for college. No matter how much you think it costs, it will always cost more. That was what I took away. That's what they said to me. And that really had an impact on me. I came away from that conversation basically with the scarcity mindset. There will never be enough. No matter how much I prepare, it will not be enough. So that's kind of the foundation I want to set for you guys. It started with, I should never want anything. So I suppressed wanting things for so long that I just never wanted stuff. So I was an underbuyer at that point. And then I learned that I would never, ever have enough for the things I need in life. So basically, that's the foundation of where my scarcity mindset came from. Yeah, I do want to add that my parents did such a good job with us growing up. It is no joke to grow up single income for kids in an expensive area. We lived in the Pacific Northwest, like it's not cheap. And I just am really impressed that they didn't get in any consumer debt, no credit cards. Like, I didn't see a credit card growing up. Like, we didn't do that kind of stuff. So I'm very impressed by that. But I will say that some things in our childhood, neither good nor bad. I just took it to the extreme. I do know I kind of have a little bit of an intense or obsessive personality. So no matter what was going to happen in life, I was going to take everything to the extreme, which is not great. And I'm aware of it and I'm working on it. But now let's get into meeting my husband and how my scarcity mindset impacted our relationship. So I want to start off this section with a concept that I learned in one of my human development classes, where I don't know what anything is called, but basically you have this desire to balance out a relationship. And if you think about a spectrum where it's extreme saving on one side and extreme spending on the other, I don't know a single person that spends every single last dime that they have and never even thinks about saving. And I don't know anyone who saves 100% of their paycheck and doesn't pay for anything else like rent or food or gas. So we think, yeah, you're a saver and you're a spender, but you're never fully on one end of the spectrum. But basically, when you meet someone and you are in a relationship with them, usually you're not on the exact part of the spectrum, because you have different lives growing up, you have different childhoods, you think differently, you're a unique human being. Like, we're not going to be the exact same as our spouse. So on the spectrum of saving and spending, I met my husband, and he was someone who had a very healthy relationship with money. He is able to save and spend. So he was right in the middle, where he's like, I save, I invest, and I also spend, and I have affordable housing. Like, he was in a great position. And for me, I was in the more saver area, where I was like, I have a hard time spending and I tend to oversave a little bit and underbuy. So that's kind of where we are. But in a relationship, you really kind of want balance. So when he saved and he spent, I just saw the spending, and I was like, okay, well, in order for him to spend money, I have to save even more. And so then he saw me over saving and over investing, and he's like, because we're saving and investing so much, I have to spend a little bit more so we can balance things out. So eventually you and your partner start going opposite ways on this spectrum, because you guys want an equilibrium, you want some balance in your life, in your relationship. So that's not like eternal law or anything. That's just like something I learned in a class. But anyways, that's kind of what was at play when we got together. He always assumed that he was a saver, but then when he met me, I mean, it was nothing compared to me. I was obsessive about saving money and all about control and fear and like perfectionism when it came to money. Like, I felt so much fear about money, and I felt no desire to spend any money because I thought that was not good. Okay, so when I look at it objectively, I married a grown man that had a great spending and saving habits, has been investing ever since he was young. He's been doing everything right, but I just was consumed by the fact that there was never enough and we shouldn't ever buy anything. So basically, because of this dynamic where I was chasing and I was trying to be intense and he was trying to spend a little bit more because I was not willing to spend anything at all. It became this unhealthy money dynamic. I started to scare him. I became really frustrated with this, or I became really scared all the time. Just a lot of fear in general when it came to money. So let me give you guys 3 examples of kind of how this played out in real life in our relationship. So number 1 is when my husband first met me, I literally had a red Solo cup, a plastic plate, and a plastic spoon, and a plastic fork. After I took a shower, I only had a hand towel for my hair and my body, and I washed my hands with the hand towel too, which is, I think, really unhygienic, but yeah, that's how it was. So it's this very, I was living really bare bones, and I didn't even know how much a cup and a plate and like a spoon and a fork cost. I wasn't even willing to go look. I just thought there's never enough. So I just have to have this plastic cup that I keep rewashing by hand. So, and I'm pretty sure you can buy like actual stuff, like single plates and cups for like 79 cents at Walmart, but I just wasn't willing to do that kind of stuff. I didn't even think, let's go and see the price. I was just like, nope, there's never enough, and I don't want to ever want something. So that's example number 1 of how that kind of played out before we were married. And then when we got married, we started to save for a house. We basically bought a house like 5 months after we got married, which is a pretty intense experience for me because money is really intense. Okay, yeah, so we set a really unrealistic budget for ourselves for the week, which was $70 a week, which we were absolutely not going to hit. That had to include everything we bought that week, which was gas, if insurance came out, if we needed to buy some food, because we were living with our in-laws at the time in the basement and they were paying for our groceries and everything. So we could spend very little, but $70 was just so rigid. We were not gonna ever be able to hit that. Like that was not realistic for us. So when you set an unrealistic budget, you're basically setting yourself up to fail. And unfortunately, inevitably we did fail at that budget, and I lost my mind. I cried so intensely. I was super, super mad about it. I was like, I can't believe we did this. Like, we're never gonna buy a house. We're never gonna be able to save any money. I was just losing my mind, which looking back, I'm like embarrassed that I did that, but also like that's where I was at the time, and I'm gonna give myself grace and be grateful that I'm at where I'm at right now. So that's another example, which definitely when you do something and then your partner just like obsessively cries about it, that would like leave a lasting impression on you, where you're like, okay, now I know, like if I ever overspend on our budget, like it's game over and my spouse is gonna cry so much. So, and then the third example is when we bought our house. I cried so much and I said that it was the worst financial decision of our life because I just so much felt out of control to me. All the interest rates and savings and closing costs, I just felt so out of control in that experience. Basically, I want to paint that picture of how I acted in our relationship with money. It was I was so scared, very scarcity mindset oriented. I was very intense about it. I was very black or white, do or die. So that's kind of what our relationship was like when it came to money. And that's not a very healthy relationship with money. And now I wasn't even in the realm. I didn't even think me needing to change was in the realm of possibilities, because I was like, I'm the one who's good at saving. I'm the one who's good at investing. Like, even though he saved and invested before he ever met me, like he taught me about investing, and I'm like, no, I'm the one who's good at it. Like, kind of prideful. Like, I'm not trying to put myself down. I'm just trying to say, like, I had so much fear and I had such a desire for control at that time that that's really what was fanning the flames of my scarcity mindset. But even though I wanted control and I didn't want to feel vulnerable when it came to money, it was really, really creating this terrible money dynamic between me and my husband, where I was being really intense, scary, maybe a little bit mean about money, and yeah, too obsessive. And then he was having to pull back and make himself smaller when it came to money, because you want to get that equilibrium, and I was being way too much about money. And so he was like, I have to be less about money. So that was a really hard experience, and I realized that something was a little off. Not when I was crying, not when I was miserable, but I realized that he was like getting nervous to talk to me about money. When he was like, oh, taking a couple hours before he came home after he had to like get an oil change or rotate the tires, something like that, where he would be taking like a lot of time to tell me about it. He'd be prepping to tell me about it, because I was just someone who was so unstable when it came to talking about money. So I realized, I was like, don't be scared of me anymore. And like, that's so funny. Like, you should change, but I'm not going to change. Like, don't be scared of me anymore. Just tell me how it is. And so then he'd be like, okay, I'll like tell you how it is. Like with money, I'll just be more objective and just tell you. And so then he would, and I would like lose my mind again. I was like, oh my gosh, like, so then I realized I think something has to change, and I think it might be me. And I feel really bad because then he started feeling guilty if like we would budget for him to play golf and then he would use that money to play golf. Like he just felt bad. Like it was just this unhealthy dynamic where I was trying to make, like, not trying to make, but indirectly making him feel bad for spending money and just making him feel like he has to justify everything that he did, which like he doesn't have to. And he's also like, he's 25 years old when we met. No, he's 24 years old when we met. Like he had lived a good life of taking care of himself and doing his own thing. Like, why did I have to come in and be like, no, you're not doing enough? So yeah, that was definitely the tipping point where I was like, oh, something's changed and it's not healthy. And I think it might be because of me. So yeah, I tried to overcome it originally by just saying, hey, you need to change. You need to stop doing this. And obviously it didn't work. So let's go over actually how I was able to overcome the scarcity mindset with the support of my partner. So yeah, I didn't set out to be like, let's overcome the scarcity mindset with my 12-step program. I didn't do that. I just decided I want to overcome the scarcity mindset because I think it's creating an unhealthy dynamic with money in our relationship, and I want to fix that, but I honestly didn't know how. So here's the things that I did that ended up being impactful and powerful in helping me overcome the scarcity mindset and be more at peace with money in general. The number one thing that happened was I gave myself time, but then I reflected on my experiences. So anything that happened that was an intense money experience where I had the opportunity to forsake a scarcity money mindset, and then I reflected on it, and that really helped me to make a lot of progress. So for example, we took money out of our emergency fund for the very first time a couple months ago to pay for some car fixes that we need to. It was about $1,600, and we didn't just have that lying around. So we decided to take that money out of our emergency fund, and my scarcity mindset, like the red, like the jailbreak buzzer, whatever you want to call it, was going off. It was like, no, this is not good. I literally remember having the thought, if we take money out of our emergency fund right now, we're going to have to take money out of our emergency fund every single month, and then we'll be poor, and then we'll lose our house, and then we'll have to move in with in-laws, and it'll be so embarrassing. So I remember really feeling like that, and that was my scarcity mindset talking. But instead I was like, okay, let's take money out of the emergency fund this month, and we'll see next month if we do take money out of the emergency fund. And then the third month, we'll see if we do it again. And if we don't, then I know that we don't have to take it out of our emergency fund every month. So basically, you can be mindful of your fears and your desire for control, but then over time, you can find the evidence to disprove them. All right, number 2 is I changed the way I talked about money, like the actual words that I used to talk about money. Okay, so this is actually a really good example. Recently, my husband, this month actually, he really wanted to buy a season pass to BYU sports, like a football season pass, So this was last month in April. His uncle was like, hey, we have a season ticket open if you want to buy it. And it was $400, and we had not budgeted $400 at all for a season ticket. So instead of being like, we don't have enough money, I come at money in a more objective way. Obviously, money is still very emotional to me, and I'll never not have emotions about it. But instead of being like, we don't have enough money for this $400 season ticket, we'll never have enough money. Maybe next year, maybe we can set up a sinking fund. Like, obviously, we could set up a sinking fund, but this was like something my husband really wanted. He had talked about it for a long time. And that's the thing about money is used to create the life that you want to live and not just something to budget. So instead of saying that we didn't have enough money, I looked at the season ticket cost $400. We did not budget $400. We have $0 for a season ticket. That's like the objective experience that we went through. So we decided, without any intense emotions in our mind, we're like, why don't we just budget $400 next month for it, and then we can buy it? Because it's really simple math, but we include so many emotions when it comes to money. So I was like, we need $400, we have $0. The math doesn't make any sense. But next month we can give ourselves $400, and so $400 is enough to buy the season ticket. It sounds so simple, it's like stupid, but it really, really helps. I just stopped saying, we don't have enough money, we don't have enough money. Like, okay, let's calm down. Like, we can make the money. We don't have enough money right now, we have $0. But we can get the $400. I feel even like silly explaining that example, but if that resonates with you guys, let me know, because I really feel like that was such a huge revelation to me. Okay, and then the third thing I did was I sought support from my husband. So, and also this might be another silly example, but it really, really helped me. I have a really hard time online shopping / shopping in general for clothes at all. I love to put stuff in my cart and then never buy it, and then it goes out of stock and then I can't buy it. I'm like, oh, well, I tried. But then I would wake up and I'd be like, I don't have a coat to wear and it's cold. I don't have a shirt to wear and it's hot. Like, I only have one pair of jeans. Like, I only have one pair of pants. Like, I don't have anything to wear. Everything's in the dirty laundry. I literally don't have anything to wear. And I don't know if it weighs on you guys when you feel ugly in your clothes, but I hate wearing something I don't like. Yeah, but online shopping is hard. No matter how little of clothes I have, I still had a hard time online shopping. So what we did is I sought support from my husband. First, I would online shop, and instead of putting it in my cart, I would send it to him and he would buy it for me. So it made it super easy for me to buy clothes. And he also would return stuff for me because I was too scared of returns, and I felt like if I bought something, I had to keep it forever, and it was just too much pressure. So that was step one. But then step two was I would find something, I would put it in my cart, and I would show him, and then he would buy it for me, and he'd do the returns. So you guys kind of see where I'm going with this. Then the next step, I would put it in my cart, I would buy it, he would return it. And now I'm at the point where I put something in my cart, I buy it, and then I return it. So I don't know, you guys, is that such a silly example? But it really was so hard for me. The underbuying, the not wanting anything, the desire to not ever buy anything, because that was like the good thing, the safe thing, the control thing to do. So my husband has really helped me, and now I have clothes that I absolutely love. Like, you guys, this shirt is from Old Navy. It was only $10, and I was like, the fact that I could buy a $10 shirt. I know if you don't have a scarcity mindset and you have a spending issue because everyone in the whole world wants you to overspend, the only person who doesn't want you to overspend is yourself. I'm not surprised why people have overspending issues. Like, everyone is banking on you overspending. But you look at someone with a scarcity mindset and an underbuying issue, and you might think like, oh, it's perfect. They're like, I wish I had that issue. But really, there's a lot of internal turmoil and there's a lot of internal anguish that happens when you cannot get yourself to buy stuff. So I'm really, really happy with where things are at now, and my husband definitely supported me to get to this point. Okay, and the fourth thing is I gave myself space to mess up and to waste things. So as a person with a scarcity mindset, I had such a hard time wasting things. So I felt a lot of pressure to buy everything perfect. So if I was gonna buy a birthday present, an anniversary present, something for our yard, something for our cats, it had to be perfect, or else I was wasting money. But now I do this thing where I go and I shop for something, and I'm in store and I love it, and I bring it home and I'm like, I don't know if it's worth $30 though. Like, you guys, I'm at the point where $30 is like kind of a lot for me to spend on a pair of pants. I'm getting there. But anyways, so then I'll be at home and I'll like wear it around the house and keep the tags on. But now I'm like, no, I'm gonna rip the tags off. I liked it in the store. I like it at home. I just need to commit. So I'm ripping the tags off. And you know what? You know what's happened since then? Is I have clothes where I haven't even worn because I ripped the tags off, and I was like, you know, actually, this isn't really my thing. I don't really like it. And you might be like, oh, like, you're going to waste so much money doing that. But for me, wasting things is part of me overcoming the scarcity mindset, because guess what? I wasted some money on a $15 shirt from Target, and I am still alive. I'm still healthy and thriving. But when you have a scarcity mindset, you don't always think that way. And then the fifth and final thing that I'm going to show you guys that I did, or I'm going to share it with you guys that I did, was I take budgeting cleanses. So we usually do this when we go on vacation. It's a great experience. Like, it's a great opportunity to do a budgeting cleanse. Is I straight up just do not do my monthly budget. Like, I don't. And that's really scary as someone who likes to obsess about money and control money, because budgeting helps me feel so in control of my money and so in control of my spending. And it just is such a cathartic experience to budget and to save and to invest. But instead of doing that every single month of the year, I usually take like 1 or 2 months of the year where I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna spend money. I'm not gonna go overboard, but I'm not gonna track it. And you know what? In some categories we overspend, in some we underspend. So that just helps remind me that you don't have to control everything in your life. When it comes to money, you can still be okay. Now, if you have a spending issue, if you have a propensity to overspend on a lot of things, I don't necessarily recommend doing a budgeting cleanse always, because like, you just need to do what works best for you. But I know that I have a propensity to underspend and to control and to obsess. And so a budgeting cleanse works for me because it shows me that that false sense of security I have is actually not real, and it's okay to like let loose and relax a little bit. So yeah, that's how I overcame the scarcity mindset. And then honestly, you know what the biggest thing is that happened, or I feel like I was overcoming the scarcity mindset slowly, and then I just took a leap like over that bridge where I was like, no more scarcity mindset. What happened was I actually did a vlog. I think it was like my what I spend in a week video, where I just decided I'm done with the scarcity mindset. It was the final nail in the coffin, like goodbye scarcity mindset, rest in peace. I'm done with you. Was I just said no more freaking out about money. Will I freak out about money in the future? Probably, maybe, yes, definitely. But that was my, just like my release. I gave myself permission to just be like, no more. You do not have to worry about it. And I don't think that's genuinely a step towards overcoming the scarcity mindset, but it was a thing that when I was close to reaching my goal of having a healthy relationship with money, that was like the final thing that I could do. So I like felt like I was crossing the finish line. I was like, okay, and here's permission. No more scarcity mindset. You're welcome. Because when you first are starting your journey towards overcoming scarcity mindset and underbuying, it's so addictive. You don't want to let go. But at the end, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of done with this. I don't really want it anymore. And so I gave myself permission. I was like, no more. You're good. You're done. You should be proud of yourself. You overcame it. Am I going to make money mistakes in the future? Yes. Am I going to freak out about money? Yes. Am I going to someday in the future say something about money in front of my child, and then my child takes that with them for the rest of their life, and they're like, oh, I remember this one time when my mom said this and that really sent me down a bad path with money? Like, yeah, that's gonna happen. I'm never gonna be perfect, but that's kind of the point. Okay, also something important to keep in mind is that you might have had the scarcity mindset for a long time, so don't expect yourself to just like snap out of it magically. I think I developed the scarcity mindset pretty early on. Like, I think I've had it for about 9 years concretely, where I can point to, yes, this is when the scarcity mindset really started. I've had it for like a decade. So definitely give yourself grace and give yourself time and be patient with yourself as you're overcoming this, because it is so ingrained in some of us when the way we live and our childhood and like some self-fulfilling prophecies and some self-reinforcing factors in our lives are making it so it's hard to get out of this mindset. So I really hope that this video helps you guys to overcome the scarcity mindset, or if you're watching it so that you can help your partner overcome it and that you can support them. I wish everyone the best of luck with this. It's a worthy endeavor to overcome the scarcity mindset. I'm much happier and much more at peace with money. Has anything really changed in our financial situation? Not really, but I'm much happier and I'm at peace. So have a great rest of your day, you guys. Bye.